normally do. And, but we do that on behalf of an RIA network. And so our hedge fund, they bring on high net worth individuals, and it's now about $100 million. Well, we're raising about $100 million right now. And yeah, that's like my little journey. It was like from like, oh my God, startups, what am I going to do? Like 18 months later, it's like, now it's a hedge fund that's like investing kind of institutional money around DeFi.
Great. Thanks, Jason. That was awesome. And we got quite a bit of a story to share, all the details, but let's start with this, right? So right now, tell us about 4Moons. You mentioned that now you guys are, 100 million, right? Like, yeah. Where do you see this going?
So, what we would like to do is, give people, like a lot of people believe, like, as you learn more about crypto, you learn, oh, it's more than just Bitcoin and ETH. And you also learn, there's also a lot of garbage out there too. So the question is, what does it mean to have somebody on your behalf who is like a DeFi native plugged in, and they're just evaluating projects and allocating capital kind of smartly and actively. Like, there's a lot of new investment strategies that have emerged now that DeFi exists. And it's not just buy and hold. Now it's buy, like there's an optimal way to hold your tokens. And that optimal way actually evolves from month to month as the ecosystem evolves. And so what our fund does is we give investors sort of that kind of exposure. We are your DeFi, your actively managed DeFi strategy as a service, which means, we're going to be investing in all these alt layer ones like Luna and Atom and Avalanche. We're going to be in Phantom, and we're going to be identifying specific DeFi protocols on those. We're also going to be like borrowing against these assets and lending out money and seeking out the highest yield possible. So we're really going to try to find what we think is like the optimal portfolio of tokens that you should own when going through the cycle. And then we're going to hold those tokens in a way that generates a lot of yield alongside them, which lowers your cost basis. And I don't know, it's like a really interesting strategy. It's a very modern form of investing that's like, less than 18 months old. So that's what we do.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of my friends and some people who never even do any investment somehow start staking. What do you think is causing all this craze, or I guess excitement, right? Like, why are so many investor type of person jumping in on this?
That's a good question. I think the existence of staking is like new. Like, that's a recent development that like we have tokens of non-trivial value with that are like not just smoke and mirrors behind them. There's developer ecosystems built on them. Right now, like there's insatiable demand for block space. Like, the business of a blockchain is to sell block space, and a blockchain is designed to enable really expressive applications to be built on it so that developers can, have a pretty big surface area for appealing to users by making useful apps. We're now getting those kinds of apps. Like, they're starting to exist in the form of NFTs, in the form of DeFi. We're starting to see users, applications launch. Users love these apps. They come on board. It grinds the blockchain to a halt as block space is now, Ethereum block space is full. And so it's like, that's why gas prices are going up. And so now we're seeing, ever since the launch of Ethereum, we've seen other blockchains they've been under development for the last few years. They've now hit market, in the last, 2 years, in the last 18 months, they've really started to have their like ecosystem funds take off. And so we're seeing these other ecosystems form. And so we have a lot of proof of stake tokens. And so for the first time ever, we're seeing like retail investors who I think are the type of people that like, they probably own Fang, or maybe they would go on to YouTube and learn about options trading. I don't know if they do it, but like, they'd at least be curious about like, how can I get more out of my money? And those people learn about staking from a friend, and they're like, oh, wow, staking, you telling me that crypto, which I believe in. So if I want to buy ETH, I believe in that. And then while I believe in it, I can just like deposit it over here and I can earn 8-10% APY. Like, let's do that. Like, no brainer. We're going to see staking yields go up. And then I think people talk about it. They're like, whoa, new concept, staking, like easy passive income. It's delivering you the amount, like if you're earning like 8 or 10% APY, like that's already like a not so bad year of investing. And so like at a bare minimum, you're kind of already like staking is kind of doing something that's too good to be true. And so I think that's the appeal. It's like the
Yeah.
easiest money ever.
Yeah, and for those of you guys haven't heard the gas, it's expensive. We're talking about Ethereum gas, and all day long, I hear people coming up with different, ways to solve that gas problem, right? So, what are some of the things that you see as like new trends that folks should know about, in the blockchain and DeFi space?
I think, let's see, there's a few trends. One, I think just in general, like if you're not familiar with it, like there's a new kind of thing out there to pay attention to. And that's like when a protocol launches, when there's a new protocol that everyone's talking about that is legit, legit team, legit funding, like useful thing, the right people are talking about it. They do this thing called a liquidity mining event, and there's often an airdrop associated with it. And so the whole style of investing is just paying attention to when a protocol launches. Like right now, there's a protocol launching on Terra called Mars. It's kind of like the compound of Terra. It's a money market, and they offer credit. And so people are now, what they're doing is they're joining the liquidity mining phase, where you can earn free tokens essentially by participating in the bootstrapping of this protocol's economy. You could go deposit stable coins into their pools, and like you lock them up for a few months, but you'll earn like 800% APY if you lock them up for like 18 months. It's like you can earn an 850% APY in the form of Mars tokens. And like people are pretty excited about Mars, and like maybe the tokens will spike and come down, but you'll have accumulated sort of like a free bag just for like depositing stable coins and helping them get their liquidity going for swaps. I bring up this very specific example because it's super common. This is what every protocol launch looks like. They say, hey, we need people to be able to trade our token, deposit tokens here. We need people staking in our DAO, stake tokens here, and they'll reward you for doing this. And like, so one, you can earn a lot of money just by paying attention to what protocols are launching that are important. Or there's a blockchain that's important, like Solana. They don't have some protocol that's really successful on another protocol, on like another blockchain. Well, when like the version of that launches, pay attention to that and participate in the liquidity mining event. There's all sorts of risks associated, but it's also, this is a theme, like this is only getting more common. And so it's worth bringing up because, people talk about this event called DeFi Summer, where like a year and a half ago, like there's tons of these. Well, and like they say DeFi Summer ended, but really we have way more of these now than ever, because there's every single protocol that launches needs to do this. So like that's one theme. Pay attention to protocols that launch. Two, I'm paying attention to interoperability as a theme. Like as there's more blockchains that have successful ecosystems, there needs to be technologies that bridge these ecosystems together, so that data can seamlessly be shared across blockchains. And so like there are technologies called like bridges that are like worth checking out. Like if you use a bridge and they don't have a token yet, they may airdrop you their token in the future. But also I'm looking to see where I can invest, but also there's also like entire like blockchains focus on interoperability, like the Cosmos ecosystem or the Near ecosystem, or even Polkadot. I like to focus on Cosmos because that's what I understand more. And there's projects like Juno and Secret, and these enable interoperable smart contracts, because over time, like as we have more blockchains emerge, we're going to have smart contracts that in a single transaction interface with multiple blockchains. And so technologies that enable that are going to do really well. Those are some of the themes I'm going to focus on. I'm also going to be hunting for airdrops. There's like a checklist that, people are, put these on Twitter. They make websites devoted to them. Any protocol that has, tens of millions of TVL locked into them, and they don't have a token, I go use that protocol at least once, because I just know that they're eventually going to have a token, and the people that are going to get that token are going to be people likely who did something on the protocol. Like MetaMask, like they're going to have a token. It's going to be airdropped to people that do a swap on MetaMask. So like I made sure I did swaps on like all my wallets. Yeah. So airdrops, alt layer ones, interoperability. protocol launches. Those are things I'm paying attention to.
Great. Thank you, Jason. That was super helpful. For a lot of folks, this is definitely a new world and all you hear about is NFT every day. So can you walk us through like a very simple version? What is an NFT and why should people pay attention?
What is an NFT? Well, it's a type of token. Like, so if we have tokens and like they're all fungible, meaning like Catherine, you have 1,000 ETH, I have 1,000 ETH. We like trade it back and forth. All the ETH is the same. A non-fungible token. This was actually created during a hackathon at one of the at a major Ethereum conference a few years ago, when people made like crypto kitties, and which was like a collectible. They were collectible cats, and they wanted to make tokens that were like serial numbers, and so every token was like a part of a larger set, the crypto kitties, but each token was like crypto kitty token 1, crypto kitty token 2, and so on and so forth. And so every crypto kitty has a unique token. And so the idea is like they're kind of like serial numbers that are all kind of connected. And so today people are trying to figure out like, what do you do with these? And right now I would say like the state of NFTs is really similar to when like apps just came out on the iPhone. And remember like the first apps, they were kind of like your phone would be like a lighter and you'd like tap the screen and it would like a flame would come up, or it would be like a glass of beer and you would tilt the phone and like it would like the water, like it's just kind of silly. So right now people look at like, oh, what can you do with an NFT? They're making collectibles. Like here, I have a bunch of JPEGs and I'm gonna label them 1 through 10,000. And I'm going to put this collection up there. They're all cute, funny photos, and they're for sale. Well, so people are experimenting with this and they're having a lot of fun as these collections all mean different types of things. I buy NFTs right now. Art, we're seeing photographers are labeling their photo. And the idea is like, this is giving some sort of authenticity to something. So like in the same way that like when you go to a museum, like every painting there has like a certificate associated with it that says like the whole history of the painting, when they've like updated it and done like work on it, who's bought it, who sold it, who owns it, what are the things you can do with the painting. And NFTs are similar. Like an artist can mint something onto the blockchain. I could copy their work and I too could create an NFT, but everyone would see that like I created the NFT and I'm not the artist. So like they would be like, Jason copied an NFT and put it on the blockchain. So like, I don't know if that's valuable. Okay. But like, it's not going to be as legit as like the main artist minting it from their account. And so I don't know. I think NFTs represent like anything in the world that's non-fungible. Like I sort of see, imagine one day you're going to have an NFT in your wallet that's like your employee badge, and it's going to have all sorts of properties. NFTs are like as many properties as apps or websites. So imagine going to work and like your NFT gets you into the building. It logs you into Slack. It gets you into Zoom. It's you can sign contracts with it. You can log into DocuSign, and only someone with an NFT in your wallet with your name on it and your like level of access can sign that contract. In fact, they know that your NFT is located in your wallet, and so the company just streams your salary to the location of your NFT. These are the types of things that like, or maybe you have a bunch of cool art in your wallet, and you go to your house, and your house detects all like they detect all like the NFTs in your wallet, and all the frames populate with like your favorite art. Who knows how we're going to use NFTs in the future? But like they're basically it just means it's a serial number tied to a thing. It could be like a Facebook like, it could be like a cookie on the internet.
Yeah, for sure. And I noticed you have a CryptoPunk as your LinkedIn profile. What's the story behind that? And what other projects are you excited about?
So CryptoPunk is like a historic NFT because like they came up with the idea of the collective, like they made them before NFTs existed as a type of token. So before CryptoKitties, the CryptoPunk was created, and it's just a collection of like, it's the first collectible on Ethereum. And the idea is they have 10,000 cute, 8-bit characters that are inspired by the UK punk scene. They're all looking to the right. They're all cool. And it started off with this interesting auction mechanic where you would mint them. You would pay like a little bit of gas, like $100 to bring the CryptoPunk into existence. And then you could either bid on them or sell them or accept bids. And so there's always a price floor that shows like what's the cheapest CryptoPunk. And now it's like, it's gone from like zero to like now like 60 or 70 ETH per CryptoPunk. Like it's kind of crazy how expensive they gotten. I think people look at them as like a historic artifact, like, oh, it's like the first collectible on the blockchain, and like they're cool. What am I excited about? Gosh, I mean, I'm really excited about this one project called Clone X, made by this company called Artifact that Nike just acquired. They're essentially just a high-end brand activation agency, and they've just gone all in on NFTs. And so they've created their own profile picture collection that's extraordinary. They're very cool. They've partnered with Takashi Murakami, who is like a famous streetwear artist. He's like a god in that world. And they're partnering with Nike. And so all of like the characters, it's implied, like if you buy an avatar, like all their stuff, the physically will one day be for sale, creating a virtual world where you can play with these characters. I just feel like if Nike's behind it, it's going to have a lot of credibility, and they're going to fund it properly. And this company is so clever. So I think it's worth paying attention to, because it's an interesting idea of like, what are NFTs? If you want to understand them, like paying attention to a project and seeing how the NFTs evolve over time and like how a community rallies around them is interesting. Like these NFTs are going to get you access to discounts on Nike products. They're going to get you access to exclusive events. It's going to be a playable character in a game. You'll be a part of a club. They're going to mail you stuff. There's exclusive merch you can buy. Interesting. Like it's all, what does it mean to have this NFT? So, yep.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And when you think about right now, the world of metaverse, because I think that's also something we talk about quite a bit later. We're going to go through Epic Games also as a investment target. So what do you think about like, how is the intersection of crypto, metaverse, and NFT? Like, where do you think that, people, let's say 5 years from now on, looking back, it's like, hey, where are we?
I think today it's like we have this technology and it's showing us, it's giving us a new superpower. But it's not going to be all or nothing. I think today there's like a debate that's a false debate. There's some maximalists that are like, crypto, it's going to be like, it's going to eat gaming, and all gaming will be all crypto, and it's going to be like the things that are here today. And like there's some people in gaming that are like, no, nothing. It's like, for all the reasons we don't like crypto, we don't want to be a part of it. And it's just going to, it's a new feature that can be used. And so I think people who are really good at making games in the game industry are going to take things that are really familiar. Like I already enjoy going into Fortnite and buying a bunch of V-Bucks, and converting my USD into that and buying skins, a stupid amount of skins and that are flashy, and playing in the game. I'm used to that. I would be totally comfortable seeing another artist who is not in the game say, oh, I'm going to make an NFT of that item, and I'm just going to make it available for that universe. Here's my version of the skin, without even asking the game developer. And now I can buy that and wear it in the game. That's not a huge logical leap to me. And I think like that's a version of like what's going to be coming, so, sort of like digital asset creators. We're also going to see, I think, NFTs get involved with like the creator economy, where like subscription-based NFTs, where I buy an NFT and, it gives me, it's like this NFT gives me 9 months of access as a member. And like, I have to buy a new one in 9 months. Like it won't work anymore. Like, I think like, this is going to empower creators to directly monetize themselves more. Yeah, I think it'll be a gradual integration of these features, and it's going to be by the game industry. I don't think it's going to be like crypto people make games. I think it's going to be the game industry looks at what crypto people have made, and they bring them into their games.
Gotcha. Yeah. And last but not least, tell us about Yield Police and what are you trying to achieve? By the way, this is on Discord and is it on Twitter as well?
Yieldopolis.
Yeah,
well,
Yieldopolis.
I mean, Yieldopolis is just a gigantic group text of like people in my career that like it's It's a private group. It's something that I recommend all of you create. Like the best thing you could do to get good at DeFi investing is make a group text of your friends that you trust who all share your goals around making money in crypto. And then you should transparently share your money moves. Say, screenshot, I spent this much money on this token. Screenshot, I claimed my yield. Here's how much I earned. And you post it in the chat and people go, oh my God, like, and they start to copy your homework, and then you see what they have. And then you start to talk about upcoming things like a protocol launch. And you all talk about, well, how do we do this? How are you getting ready for it? And it becomes like a war room for DeFi, and DeFi always has stuff going on. And so this chat room becomes a really engaged place where the whole point of it is like seizing the opportunity at the moment. And then maybe you don't know very many crypto people, but like your friend on Twitter met someone and they bring someone else into the group, another group grows, and like your surface area of what you can pay attention to grows. And so like I've made a private community, like I just invited Catherine to, where that's what we do there. And so I recommend everyone, like it's been the number one thing that's helped me get confidence in what I'm doing. And it's also helped a lot of other people. So like, it's fun to help your friends.
Yeah, please, do drop your link here on Discord. Love to get you, more people talking. I mean, it's definitely fun. I was up, on a Sunday night going through all kinds of fun topics on Discord. So please, feel free to drop your link here. So we're gonna shift and go review SpaceX, Epic Games, and a couple other opportunities we have live this week on MarketX. Jason, feel free to stay tuned, stay around, or definitely thank you again for joining us today.
All right, this was fun. If we're no longer talking about crypto, I'm going to leave because I don't care about non-crypto stuff. So everyone, crypto. All right, take it easy.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Awesome, great. So first of all, I'm going to share, our latest opportunity. We have been, looking at Discord and also Epic Games. These are the two that's also relatable to what we just talked about. Epic Game is Team Sweeney, the metaverse play. In the past, we have spent quite a few time, discuss why this company is worth looking at. So Epic Games is a leading interactive entertainment company. Right now, it's known for being the biggest play on metaverse. So far, it has the world's largest game, so it's over 350 million accounts and 2.5 billion friend connections. It has produced quite a bit of famous games like Fortnite, TV shows, Wise After Mandalorian. And in this case, we also, coming from an investment point of view, this company has raised over 4.4 billion in funding from Sony, KKR, Fidelity, Tencent, etc. Next, the team behind Epic Games, as I mentioned, Tim Sweeney is definitely one of the most famous founders. He's been, doing this for decades, and he has aggregated a really exciting, group of team around him. And so far, as the Epic Games grew, it's one of the most, I would say, put together teams. Also not from San Francisco, not from Silicon Valley. They have really looking at generating so much excitement and also innovation in the gaming and metaverse play. So overall, as you can see here, market size, we're looking at a close $200 billion market. And with Epic's TAM, going up year after year, we're looking at Unreal Engine also becoming a huge driver for revenue growth. Next, we're looking at why this company is so exciting. What are some industry growth drivers? First of all, the rise of gaming as a platform and metaverse development definitely is a way to expand the addressable market for publishers. So you can see some of the most famous ones: Travis Scott's performance, Lil Nas, and a lot of marriages, graduation ceremonies happening on the metaverse. Esports is definitely also a big area. Esports teams have been growing tremendously in the last few years, and now you can see viewership and top gaming platform reached over 28 billion hours of watch content. And lastly, increased mobile usage adoption as well as 5G infrastructure So these are all the reasons why we believe this company will continuously do well. Product-wise, you can think of there are three areas being game publishing, gaming store, and Unreal Engine licensing. So, I know we've gone through this quite a few times, so I'm going to skip over some of the content here. We definitely, are expecting Epic Games to do well and potentially IPO either later this year or early next year. Some of the market competitors include Activision, EA Games, Roblox, Steam, Unity. We previously have invested in Unity pre-IPO, and we still think it's a name that's doing well in public markets. Gaming in general is still a huge market, so stay tuned for Epic Games debut. Relative valuation wise, you can see here Unreal Engine versus Unity Create. These two are pretty comparable to each other. And as you can see, we think that the growth potential for Unreal Engine is still, quite tremendous. And looking at the market cap for some of the, public market companies versus Unity, Roblox, as you can see, the revenue multiple for gaming as a service is just much higher than the traditional publishing players. And where Epic Game is today, this is where we see, the 2021-22 growth can, still continue. And currently the company is raising a new round at the latest valuation. We're looking at $13.75 per share. And this is some of the key metrics we have for Epic Games. Do we have any questions potentially? Definitely feel free to raise your hand if you have any questions about Epic Games today.
What was the share price and the valuation, Catherine?
$13.75, and this is close to a 40 billion valuation. We're looking at potentially this company being multi-hundred billions given gaming is continually growing. The last, there's some news that Epic is raising a new round again. So, sorry, David, you asking, can you go back to the price sheet? I don't think I've shown a price sheet. I believe I just showed the key metrics. Is that what you're referring to? Okay, yeah. So this is like the key metrics, 350 million Fortnite accounts, 2.5 billion Fortnite contract connections, and then 5.1 billion in 2020 revenue. And then also you guys probably have seen that Epic Games had a trial with Apple, and the learnings from that. Great. So do we have any other questions here before I move on to the next deal? All right. Okay, so some of the numbers I also would like to share, in case you guys are interested in looking at Epic Games. We do a lot of research and gather, these kind of intel. So please do, stop us if you have any questions. So you can see here a breakdown of all the shareholders, top shareholders. And then here's the gaming market size over the years. Some of these numbers that could be very interesting. They hit 680 million revenue, and currently, 45 million monthly MAU in May 2020. Also, in terms of the projections right now, right, in 2024, we're looking at closing 10 billion. So this is what we have for Epic Games. Next, I would like to go through SpaceX. So currently we have a 2.5 million SpaceX block left right now. SpaceX obviously has been in the news for quite a bit with the Ukraine-Russian war. You guys know Elon Musk has sent Starlink to Ukraine, which is very nice of him, and has created a huge following for Starlink, which is part of SpaceX. So this has been a name that has always been interesting to the group. So I would like to just quickly go over it. In case you guys are interested, please reach out to our sales team. SpaceX was founded in 2002, headquartered in California, and now operating in Florida and Texas. We all know the SpaceX team headed by Elon, and the CFO, Brett Johnson, Gwen, they've been with the team for decades. Funding wise, SpaceX raised quite a bit of money, since its founding date. We have really worked with many of the uncapped table shareholders. SpaceX operates across 4 primary segments. Most people probably know about Dragon and Starlink. In these areas of growth, we can see that especially during this Russian invasion, you can see that Starlink has proven to be transformative in people's lives during these kind of wartime. SpaceX also successfully completed 27 separate Falcon 9 launches. Last year, company set a record 26 fulfilled launches. And if you look at the number of launches, since the beginning 2006, we have seen a consistent growth in the number of launches. And Starlink, high-speed, low-latency broadband service, aiming to provide satellite, for everyone on Earth, launched in October 2020, relatively new. Currently, it's operating across 14 countries, with applications spanning across others. Sub-Saharan Africa, for example, is one area they really want to expand. And today, we're looking at global population 40% without that access. Some of the overall TAM, and also just overall how we think about Starship as a business. You can see here 5% market share of 8.25 million seats at an average ticket price of $2,000 each will imply 16.5 billion in annual revenue to SpaceX. So once this actually launches, this will be tremendous. And eventually we're looking at a Mars exploration. Granted, I will always caution our investors, this will be definitely a more long-term, investment. This is not typical to what we launch on MarketX, which usually we invest in companies would do one to 3 year pre-IPO timeline. So, some of the competitors, Virgin Galactic, Rocket Lab, etc., Blue Origin, SpaceX has definitely been the #1 player in the space. And as we mentioned before, we know that SpaceX is a 5-10 year long-term play, and here are some of the founding histories. So let me pause here and see if you have any questions.
What's the valuation and price?
So for